The Reckoning is a brand new film from director Neil Marshall, who brought us The Descent and Dog Soldiers. And a lot of people have. He also did Doomsday as well, which I think is a pretty overlooked film of his filmography. But, anyways, I've been seeing a lot of shit tossed towards this film. Now, this deals with kind of, the witch trials of the 1700s, I want to say. And this woman is accused of witchcraft, and she's basically tortured throughout the film, uh, and tried to get, they're trying to get a confession out of her, and she's just like, fuck no, I'm not doing it. So it really is just kind of a torture film in a way, but it's really about a woman's perseverance to not give in to this injustice that's happening fucking all throughout the land. And I think, I don't think that the hate for this one's warranted. I quite enjoyed this movie. Now, is it great? No. I think the budget is honestly its biggest holdback. It feels kind of cheaper at times, but I didn't feel like that held back the performances of the actors here. We've got Sean Pertwee. That's how you say his name. That's his name, right? Who was in Dog Soldiers. So there's a reunion there, which I actually just put together right now as I was about to say it. I'm like, oh, wait. He was in Dog Soldiers. So that's cool to see them, hook back up for this film. And he's the guy that's trying to get the confession out of the woman. I think there's one other familiar face, but I don't know any of these people's names. But our main character here, this female lead who's going through the torture, this is almost like a passion of the Christ in a way. I really liked the message and the story that was being told here of this kind of like persecution, these events that took place in our history. Now, this one deals a little bit more with like, is this person actually a witch or not? A little bit. There's a depiction of the devil that's in this movie that I thought was really cool looking. Just pretty scary and well designed. So I really appreciated that part of it and that aspect of it, and definitely makes you scratch your head a little bit, like, what is happening here? But the ending of the film, like the last like 10 minutes, was a lot of good fist pumping. I was like, fuck yeah, hell yeah, all right, yes, cool, yes, all right. So it had a pretty strong ending for me, and I was pretty into it throughout. There was some dragging parts, especially towards the beginning, and it's a period piece, and sometimes that can drag. And I was like, what am I getting myself into? I thought this was going to be more of a horror movie, and there are definitely horror elements, especially with that devil character, and because of what's happening to this woman. But this has got a lot of dramatic elements as well, and maybe because of the poster and maybe because of the premise, people were expecting something different, and because of the director as well. The director brings a certain expectation with him. Oh, he did The Descent, and The Descent is my favorite horror movie, whatever. I've heard people say this kind of stuff, and to me that's kind of unfair. I just kind of judged the movie on the movie itself, and the movie that I watched was quite entertaining. I thought that this kind of covered the witch trials pretty well, and just showed how fucking barbaric and nonsensical they all were, and how hypocritical and impossible they were. Is basically like, we're going to torture you until you give us a confession. So you're just going to sit there, which is of course kind of what they were doing in our police system at one point, where they were just beating these guys or keeping them up and just antagonizing them until they literally hadn't slept for days, and were so scared that they would sign anything for it to stop. This is basically that same kind of thing, except for women were being burned at the stake. And at the end of this movie, it gives like this real statistics for it, and it said that like 500,000 women were tried and convicted of witchcraft and put to death Uh, is that possible? Half a million? Maybe it was just like accused, not actually killed. I didn't think the numbers were that high because in my like knowledge of the Salem witch trials, which is like the most popular in American culture anyway, uh, I saw that there was very few deaths, very few, like shockingly low, like in the teens or so. And I was like, what? I thought there'd be hundreds or something, but now that's my recollection of it. Please correct me. I'm no fucking history major, but I remember seeing those numbers and being like, wait, what? So when it said 500,000 at the end of this movie, I was like, is that accurate? Is that possible? So I'd have to look more into that. But anyways, this was just such a horrible, horrible fucking time in our history. When I say our, I mean the world. It's embarrassing, and it's one of, unfortunately, many embarrassing things that human beings have done to each other. But I thought that this movie did a pretty good job of blending reality with kind of fictional horror elements as well. Um, and while it does drag at times, I was engaged, and the ending was strong enough that when it was over, I felt like I had a good time. I mean, as much as you can have a good time watching a woman tortured for probably 45 fucking minutes of a movie. Um, but I don't want to make it seem like it's some graphic display of violence on the screen. You're seeing tons of like gore or skin being ripped off or any of that kind of stuff. It's a lot of it's kind of off screen, but we do get her performance. There's a lot of tit hiding in this movie, which I thought was kind of odd because this woman shows off her ass every single chance she gets. She has like these sex scenes, and we keep seeing her ass on full display. But you can even see in one scene when they take off her top and they're doing something that she's wearing a cover over her nipple. You see it for like half a second, but this girl, this is not important to the review at all. But I always find that interesting. Show every single thing about me except for my actual like areolas. Like, don't show those. You can show the side of my tit. You can see everything but my areolas, my ass, everything. So why the nipples? It's so fucking weird. People are so weird. But anyways, yeah, I dug this. And I think that if that premise entices you, you should check it out. You should be your own critic. Be your own judge of things, because don't let people steer you away from things, which I guess makes my channel completely pointless. Good night.